So I'm kind of getting tired of fiberglass, and we've got this transom to deal with here. It's ugly. It's got bottom paint on it. The aluminum bracket is corroded just a little bit, and so I want to focus on this today. And so, you know, when I started thinking about this boat project, and there's many nights when I sit and just stare at it, and I think to myself, oh my God, what have I gotten myself into, and so much to do. I think about some advice that Mark Twain actually gives us, and he says the secret of getting ahead is just getting started. And the secret to getting started is breaking down your complex, overwhelming tasks into small, manageable tasks, and then just starting on that first one. Well, today, it's Saturday, it's Father's Day weekend, and my house is quiet right now. And so this transom needs help. Someone else told me that same phrase basically in another way, and she said, "How do you eat an elephant?" No, one bite at a time. So today we focus on the transom, and maybe it's just cleaning it up or whatever, making it look better, trying to get this bottom paint off, and patching a few holes. So let's do that. Okay, so what I've done so far is I've scuffed the surface up, used my drill with a grinding wheel on it. An angle grinder would probably do a much better job at this, and I own one, but I'm choosing not to use it because those things skip around a lot, and you know, I could hit something, hit the motor, hit the transom, and carve into the gel coat, and I really want that, so I'm going a little bit on the lighter side with it. I did buy some of this Aquastrip, Safer Marine Paint and Varnish Remover. Safely strips bottom and top side marine paints. I read the reviews, and supposedly stuff is good, and it works. And this bottom paint is old, and it's kind of got some breaches and everything else in it, so I'm figuring it'll probably do a good job. So one of the things I read online was to try to keep it wet. And I'm in South Florida, so it's as wet as it gets here, humidity-wise. Right now it's probably, I don't know, it's got to be 90 degrees out here, and close to 90 or 100% humidity, which is to our benefit when we're doing this work. But I want to ensure that it's going to stay wet on there. So I'm going to go ahead, paint it on, and then tape this piece of plastic over it to keep, and then press it into the remover to keep it really moist. And then we'll come back later with a scraper and see what we got. So that's what we're going to do. Let's give it a shot. It smells like a margarita, kind of. Man. Actually does not smell bad at all. Kind of surprised. And it says to paint it on thick, so we're going to do that. Let's let that cook. So stuff's been on there for like an hour, and I noticed that it's already kind of doing its job a little bit, and peel the plastic back, and you can see it's doing its job really well. So one of the things I started to do was just scrape a bit, just to see, and it's stuff's really working. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and scrape a little more on this side. What you don't want is for this stuff to dry out, and if we got to put another coat on there, then we will, and we'll continue to scrape away. Looks like it definitely took the top layer off there. Probably need to do another application. So we're going to go ahead and do a second application. I feel like Van Gogh painting the starry night. One of the things I've noticed about that first application was where the stripper was thicker. It did a much better job. So that's why it's so important to keep it wet. And so yeah, keep it wet. Make sure you keep your strippers wet. So this time I decided to go ahead and leave it on longer. I'm kind of periodically checking its viscosity, for lack of a better word. I don't want it to dry out, but I want to leave it on there, and I'm kind of just squishing it around and moving it around a bit. And remember how we talked about the temperature earlier? It's 91 degrees right now, if you can see that. But it really feels like 100. The heat index is insanely high. So if anything, this bottom paint will just bake itself off and fall off on its own. So I'm going inside to have a cold drink. It really is. That's so much better. I would say that works. So it's looking pretty good now. We got to do some sanding and stuff, but we get all that bottom paint off of there and use a sponge and water to neutralize it, and it gives us a better idea of what's going on with the transom. Looks like maybe there was trim tabs on here at one time. Maybe that's what those holes were. And the scupper in here is broken, so we're gonna have to most likely have rotten wood around that scupper too. But we took a big bite of that elephant today. All right, feels good. Until next time.